In the coming day, Jesus Christ will return to the earth as the millennial Messiah, or the second coming.
Jesus Christ, it's a fire sound.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. It is unfortunate for the new people who come to my videos that they have not been aware of the prerequisites necessary to understand the Book of Mormon and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They think they already got it all figured out. 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. Learning of the Jews, not Christians. We are not supposed to be Christian. We're supposed to be Jewish. This is not another testament of Jesus Christ. Therefore, a malicious person, Spencer W. Kimball, put on another testament of Jesus Christ in 1982. As Jewish, it is not literal history. It says so. Joseph Smith says so. Makes it very clear and obvious. It's prophecy, predicting the future, and thus gives you days and hours. So you have verse 4. It sets up the coded prophetic day and hour in regards to the year. For it came to pass in the commencement of the first year of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah. That was 597 in literal history. But you go down to verses 8 through 10, and you see the often used Jewish date for the start of the latter days for the Jewish Christ. 23rd September 2017. Revelation chapter 12, 1, 2, and 5. Joseph Smith translation 1 to 3. Isaiah chapter 6 verse 1. Isaiah chapter 7 verse, it's actually 7 verse 13 and 14. And this is also in Nephi's Tree of Life vision about the coming of Emmanuel, of the white woman, Laban. If you missed those videos recently, 23rd September 2017, which means the Jewish Christ is a Mormon. And all you have to do is run the test, because he would be a mortal human being subject to the laws of physics. And therefore, you can find out if the Bible is true prophets or false prophets. Book of Mormon, true, false, simply by running the test from section 107, verse 91 to 92. Man like Moses, Jewish Christ, seer, prophet, revelator, and translator. So, Nelson keeps exposing himself as the false prophet. Mormons, who have been taught not to run that test of scriptures, by their fruits ye shall know them, our spiritual witness feelings about the word, the fruits of the word. So if you obey the word of wisdom, you just have to have faith in the word. You don't need to actually obey it and be healthy. If you get the word for blueprints to build something, you don't have to build it. You just feel good about it. Yeah, you got to produce the results to find out if the word is true or false. Real simple, scriptural based, scientific doctrine. Everybody does it in their lives, and yet for some reason Christianity comes along, screws it all up. Everybody becomes stupid. That's why it was called the Dark Ages, after the creation of Christianity. And making America Great Britain again is sending us back into the Dark Ages of education for children. Trump Ice 2025 video playlists. Because we're in the end of the world. We're in the final countdown. This is it. And having done all the videos exposing that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the great and abominable church of Lucifer, could have figured it out just from the inverted pentagram of Lucifer on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. Real simple to do. The church makes it very blatantly obvious they're the enemy. They're evil. And Mormons continue to lie and deny and spread the lies and denies with threats of violence and hate. Religious freedom to be evil and take away agency. And so, yeah, we've got consequences because of that false word. that are being implemented around the world. So we'll start with what I find fascinating. King Charles, Pope, and Nelson. Not quite Trump. Mia Love, I guess, sacrificed her life for Trump in place of Trump. So, yeah, she was remembered in Congress yesterday, having died of cancer. But King Charles, Pope, and Nelson are all on their deathbeds. Yeah. King Charles just barely got put in. Just barely. Just barely. And he's gonna die. He has cancer. The Pope. He's at home on his deathbed. He's got a sickness. Nelson. He's old. He's gonna die on his deathbed. Oakes has been threatening to murder Mormons 3 times this year. He got leaked by little sister Jessica. He's the enemy. He's behind it all. So yeah, interesting how all of the government and religious leaders are near death. Kind of fascinating, all at the same time. Let's see, we're skipping over the Utah stuff for last. Social Security. So, after going in, purging the employment, shutting down the centers. Now, on the 31st, Social Security people have to call in, or not call in, they can't call in. They have to go in person. And so they have to travel to the other state where there is a Social Security office still remaining to confirm they're alive and human and they're legal. Not like the Social Security gives out Social Security cards so that they already know who's legal and who's not. But yeah, with our digital technology, Social Security information are getting stolen. And so yeah, you are not who you are because your ID has been stolen and is being used to commit crimes. So we're all going to get locked up as criminals because our Social Security was exposed. So they're also immediately going after those who get overpayments. And so I guess it has to do with the poor and the homeless who receive SSI. I guess if they don't keep up on the changes, reporting them, that Social Security ends up giving them too much because they sort of got a part-time job. And that ruins the whole thing. You shouldn't be receiving Social Security if you've got a part-time job. But I don't have enough money to live. Don't even get me started. Got to take care of the poor and the needy, otherwise the civilization will collapse. It's in the scriptures. Very clear. Very blatant in your face. Take care of the poor, you dumbass. It's in the Old Testament, I believe. And so, yeah, they're going after those who get overpaid to take it back and shut down their receiving of anything. And so that's going to cause harm. Know that word in advance, what will result from that. And so I guess that starts immediately today. But, yeah, I guess it would be for April. People have to go search the nation which Social Security office is still open? And so, yeah, the homeless will have to be shipped out of the state to go to a state where they have a Social Security office, and there the homeless population will be founded, become a homeless state. So probably Utah. Right there downtown by Temple Square. Just what the church wants. Getting revenge for Operation Rio Grande. I mean, dear God, they were going to just throw them in prison. That was their great plan. Yeah, it was a success. What? You scattered them all over the valley. What do you mean a success? You had to call in other departments to handle the job. You had to pay overtime. What do you mean a success? It was a complete and utter failure. Oh my God. This is so tragic when government leaders fail and claim success. It's just, oh my God, we're being run by stupid people. Health and Human Services fired. And so this actually applies to Utah as well. Everything does to Utah. But the Utah specific news we'll cover last. In Utah, Governor Cox just recently, just the other year, merged Health and Human Services together into one chaotic group that doesn't do their job. I've explained when I was undercover boss in Gail Miller's concentration camps of human trafficking, in which none of the homeless were getting taken care of. It was abominable, to say the least. Utah does not take care of the poor. You know, people give money to the shelters and it doesn't go for the homeless. And since the government has the benefits for the homeless and the poor, it logically, which is why it's not being done in Utah, would make sense to build a shelter run by the government. Since the government takes care of the poor and the needy, the sick and the afflicted, or they're supposed to. And so those who are homeless come to the shelter, gets them off the streets, gets them a place to stay, take care of themselves, and have government agents in the building. Not so that they had a room that was only open on certain times and days, and only 2 days out of the week you could access the government agent for SNAP and getting Social Security. They didn't have the agent in the building. That's the difference. So that people come in, they're put on a registry so that they can meet with an agent and meet with people who can get them housing. Because it doesn't do any good to get a caseworker who has no clue what housing's available. Giving extra jobs just for the sake of giving jobs that are just a waste and not helping the homeless. You need a government agent who's in charge of housing, saying these houses are available. These houses are for low-income persons. You've been to the health and human services person who's put you on the DWSI, whatever. And so you've got Social Security, you have SNAP, and now you're receiving income, you've got a job, and so these are the homes that are available, and Utah is not purposely creating a housing crisis, because that would be criminal, and we, the government, are stepping in to regulate it to make sure that this is not happening. You know, it could be a better system. They are purposely, maliciously not. They're purposely causing problems. And I told you it's because the church is wanting their kingdom back. And the homeless and the poor have to go. They are not to be allowed in Zion. That's why they were just going to lock them up with Operation Rio Grande. Section 119, you've never read it. You have no clue what's coming because you won't read. Church doesn't want you to. Church tells you what to believe, and you're supposed to believe them. Seriously, the air conditioning on? It shouldn't be on. Interesting. So yeah, my electric bill for this month is going to be higher than normal because of the air conditioning that's come on. So this is why we're in danger zone for drought this year, because the snow that we did get melted too quickly, too hot. We never had a real winter this year, so we're in danger for drought conditions. So that's an extra thing that I didn't have on the list. The nations don't trust America for sharing intelligence. Yeah, we saw this coming. This was all planned. This was not an accident. This was not a leak to the journalist. This was intentional. Trump tariffs are to isolate us from the rest of the nations. And so leaking sensitive national security matters of war strategy. Likewise, nobody's going to trust us. And so yes, it's all designed to have everybody not trust and hate America. Ta-da, mission accomplished. Should have been reading your Project 2025 so that you would know that this was coming. You didn't. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the stock market watch for the church. They need to have a stock market for the church news. The church involved in investor trading with President King Jesus Christ Trump had Trump threaten tariffs on automobiles for April 2nd. The church immediately began selling their automotive stocks. I noticed, though, that the church is not too interested in the automobile dealerships or the companies as much as the oil and gas companies. They're heavy investors in oil and gas, at least through only Inside Peak Advisors, because that's what got leaked. The other LLC companies that are investing in the stock market could be heavier in the automobile companies. But the automobile companies of Ford and General Mills that tanked yesterday, the church doesn't really invest heavily in them as compared to gas and oil. I mean, seriously, dear God, heavy investors in gas and oil. They do not like the earth whatsoever. They have polluted their inheritance. Ooh, bonus points for those who study their scriptures and know that that's what's going to cause Armageddon. Should we read it for you? Should we read it? You never bothered to read your scriptures. What is in them? Section 103. 14. Nevertheless, if Mormons pollute their inheritances, they shall be thrown down, for I will not spare them if they pollute their inheritances. Wow. That's kind of harsh. Mean. Can't you just let us pollute the environment and the world? Let it burn? Why do you have to be so mean, Jesus? Where is Jesus? What happened to him? Nelson said in October conference, he's coming by the end of the week. He never showed. Oakes came out in the Christmas devotional and said, every day we're getting closer to the day that Jesus is coming. Never showed. We're right before conference for April. 8 days left now. Where's Jesus? Where is he? Where is he? Seriously, Mormons. Our Jesus is supposed to be non-Trinitarian, which means he's half immortal and half mortal. The half mortal part follows the laws of physics. Physical, tangible. Body of flesh and bone is tangible as man's. Speaketh to man as, all that stuff. It's a good thing we have the immortal part so that we can say, well, screw the physics. And so logically, Jesus can't exist. A musion extreme. What does it take for a Mormon to realize they're in a fraud? They're in a dangerous death cult that is seeking to murder them in the coming days. Oakes gave you 3 death threats this year alone. For Easter, he had set aside a day to murder you on Easter, using the code word, resurrection is literal. You're gonna die. You better pay up, as your fire insurance will resurrect you for the celestial kingdom. You get to keep your penis. If you don't get to the highest degree of celestial kingdom, you don't need it. This kind of death cult is real satanic. Oh right, the inverted pentagrams on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. We all should have known this. Why don't Mormons? Why are Mormons so upset with me about what is blatantly obvious? I grew up in the church. I didn't grow up in Utah though, so I didn't get to see the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. Instead, the born-again Christian peers were being taught by their pastor, who apparently took a trip to Utah to take the photographs, which is why the church then built a wall. So they know exactly. And I didn't know. I read my scriptures, and so I was learning the learning of the Jews, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, step by step. And came to find out that the Jewish Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith are true. Amazing. All you had to do was run the test. Run the test. Alright, so the Utah stuff. Let me go running and come back and load it for you. psychology, not scientific. They use spiritual witness feelings. Tell me, how do you feel? What is your response? And they also love to focus on sex. So, do you feel guilty that you've betrayed Mormon Jesus when you masturbate? Let's get graphic like you do with your bishop. I promise not to tell because of doctor-client confidentiality. Yeah, another Utah school, grade school, psychologist. Sex crimes. Little kid sex crimes. Utah school psychologist. Shh, doctor-client confidentiality. Who gave it to them? Government? Dear God. If you're a criminal, you have to report to a treatment center run by psychologists. Apparently, criminal behavior is a mental retardation. I was right there at the scandal. See, in 2014, Valley Mental Health changed to Valley Behavioral Health. Mental retardation is now a behavioral problem. Now, granted, I was a behavioral problem as a kid growing up. I'm being told after I get baptized at 8 years old that now I have to give the church my money. I go in on a fast and testimony Sunday to get food to eat. And my mom says, "No, you don't. You have to fast." I'm 8 years old. What are you talking about? I can't eat. We get starved, our money stolen from us at 8 years old. So hell yes, I'm rebelling. Dear God. And then I hit puberty and now I'm a sinner. It's bad enough that I have to go to school and be told I'm gay because of everything I do. And I know I'm not gay because my teen girl peers are so hot and cute. I don't get it. How can I be in the closet? I don't understand. And yet, the church was on their homophobic 80s tour to scare parents that their children are gay. They need to report for conversion therapy. Dear God, what a nightmare growing up in this church. Fortunately, I was in Southern California and not in Utah, where they were actually locking you up in an asylum and flipping the switch on and off. You know, those Nazis that we gave asylum to sure thank their American liberators. Yep, indeed. The church welcomed them with open arms. Come on in, Nazis. We supported you during World War II. Come and make yourselves at home in Utah. Doctor-client confidentiality. And so, the other day, I think it was yesterday, covered how Utah is again protecting kids from porn in virtual reality. Kids cannot learn about sex in the virtual world, which, what the hell? Oh dear God. They just want to control our lives. That's what it is. And they're starting with children. Because once you can control the lives of children, it's then easier to control their lives when they become adults. Adults have had too many freedoms and rebel. So they go after the kids to take away their freedom so that they get conditioned to say, well, this is for your own good. We have to take away your agency. But the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith and says, no, you need to give us our agent. No, you cannot be trusted. You're earth scum. You're a sinner. We have to take away your agency to save your life, exalt you, force your agency. Yeah, but that's what Moses chapter 4 is talking about, is Lucifer. Yeah, Lucifer. It's code for light bearer. That's the symbol of Jesus. It's on the inverted pentagrams of the Salt Lake Temple. Duh. But Jesus? Yeah, Jesus. Lucifer. But what? Now you get it? No. Isn't Lucifer bad? No, he's a light bearer. He's an angel of light. He's not bad. He says so himself. And so because of this porn obsession of Utah, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Lucifer's plan of happiness. See, you're naked. Quick, take you fig leaves and cover your nakedness. Father will see you naked. Quick, hide. Cover up, hide. Whatever it is. Didn't quote it correctly. But everybody knows what I'm talking about. Right? Oh, you don't go to the temple? You're a faithful Mormon and you don't go to the temple. Really? Is that the definition of a faithful Mormon? Someone who doesn't actually do anything for the religion? Like studying your scriptures. And because of this porn obsession, Robert Redford, year after year after year after year, has to get up at the beginning of Sundance and say, this is art. Back off of your religious hate. The state of Utah, Park City, year after year, has to remind the Mormons of Utah to back off. All Hollywood entertainment, the music industry, movie, television, all forms of art are not to be touched. They are protected under the First Amendment. Right, YouTube? Last weekend, more women to be added to the memorial of those who have been banned from Utah or YouTube for being women. I liked Flowina. She was teaching me how to row a boat. And YouTube banned her. Dear God, I liked her. And there was some others too that I noticed also were missing. And so, yeah, because of this, Sundance, Robert Redford had enough. I can't stand Utah. They're just pissing me off. all of these attempts to take away agency, to ban people from art. That's it. And so, 2027, going to Boulder, Colorado. And Utah legislature is now angry. What are you doing? How could you betray us? Well, you betrayed him with your stupid laws. If you don't want the consequences, don't do the action. Real simple. It's scriptural. So heads up, the United States is falling. We're all doomed. So since I did today's video yesterday, I can do tomorrow's video today for the signs in the heavens.